Assalamualaikum, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to listen a story, The Lion King and the Lady Zelda.
Once upon a time, there was a rich merchant living in a large house with his two daughters named Ariel and Zelda. Zelda was a beautiful and intelligent girl. She really loved nature, especially birds.
I have to go on a business trip. What gifts would you like me to bring back when I return?
Father, I want to have precious gems and diamonds. Father, I want a lovely nightingale that can dance and sing beautifully. The father happily promised to bring back the gifts for his little girls. He said goodbye to his children and set off. The father had a successful business trip and earned a lot of money. He did not forget to buy precious gems and diamonds for Ariel. However, he hadn't found a nightingale for Zelda yet. He had to go into the forest to search for the precious bird. Suddenly, he saw a large and magnificent castle deep in the forest. Then, he saw a beautiful nightingale dancing on a treetop in front of the castle gate. The father decided to climb up the tree to catch the bird for Zelda. Suddenly, he was startled when he heard a loud roar. A huge lion appeared in front of him. He was really frightened. The lion suddenly asked him,
Why did you come here and try to steal my precious bird? Oh, dear sir, don't be angry. I have a daughter, and she wishes for a nightingale.
The father told the lion about his promise, nightingale for his daughter. The lion listened attentively.
I really did not know that precious bird was yours. Please let me go. I can give you a lot of gold and silver. I don't need gold and silver. I will let you go and give this precious bird as a gift to your daughter. If you promise, you will give me the first thing you see when you return. Do you agree?
The father had to agree with the lion's condition. He was spared by the lion and was also able to take the precious nightingale back home for Zelda. Along the way, he was worried and thought a lot.
Oh, I have found a precious nightingale for Zelda. But she was always the first one to run out and welcome me. If that happens this time, will I have to give her to the lion? Oh, no. I really wish that this time the first thing I see will be a dog or a cat.
When he arrived home, he was still really stressed about it. He just wished that some animals would welcome him first. But no, his good daughter Zelda was still the first one to run out to see him. Father, you've returned!
Oh no, the thing I feared the most has happened.
Father, why do you look so sad? Don't you want me to welcome you?
My dear, it's not that. I promised to give the first thing I see when I come home to a lion.
Then the old man told his daughter the story when he was in the forest with the lion. However, after listening, the smart and brave girl was still fearless. She told her father, Father, please do not worry. I will go to the lion and convince him. After that, I will come home to you. After that, Zelda said goodbye to her father. She took her precious nightingale with her and bravely went into the forest to find the lion. Following what her father told her, she went to the castle deep in the forest. Returning home, the nightingale was very happy and danced and sang on her shoulder. Zelda bravely walked into the castle to find the lion. She was surprised to see a handsome young prince waiting for her in the castle. The prince kindly introduced himself.
Hello, I am Prince Basil, the owner of this castle. Also the lion that your father met. Your father agreed that you would marry me. Will you agree to be my wife?
Zelda was surprised to find that the lion was a handsome young prince. She also fell in love with the gentle prince and agreed to be Basil's wife. because Prince Basil was under a witch's curse. When he was indoors or at night, he was in his human form. But whenever he went out and exposed to the sunlight, he would turn into a huge lion. Despite this, the couple still lived happily together inside the castle. One day, Zelda received an invitation to her father's birthday party at home. Zelda felt homesick. She wanted to go back to visit her father and sister. But she did not want to leave Basil alone. Basil came to her and asked,
Why do you look so sad, my dear?
"My father's holding a birthday party at home. I want to see him and my sister. Can you please come with me and meet my family?"
Oh, I would like to, but as you know, if I go out, I will turn into a lion. I will scare your father and sister. Also, if the light of a flame is exposed to me, I will turn into an eagle and fly away somewhere that I do not know.
"Just come with me, darling. I promise I will not let any light shine on you."
Okay.
Listening to his wife, Prince Basil agreed to go with her. The couple went to Zelda's house in a horse's carriage. Zelda rode the horse outside, while Basil was sitting inside the carriage so that the sunlight could not reach him. Her father and sister Ariel were very happy to see Zelda again. They thought Zelda was eaten by the lion. She introduced Basil to her father and sister, but she did not tell them that Basil was the lion. Her father and Ariel were very happy that Zelda escaped from the lion and even found a good husband. Zelda carefully blew out all the flames and the lights in her room. Basil had to stay in Zelda's room all day and never went out. The room was always dark, and there was no light at all. The father's birthday party was celebrated very solemnly in the house. However, Basil didn't attend. He still hid in the room because he feared candlelight.
Where is Basil? Why is he not attending my party?
"Dear father, he's still tired after a long trip, so he's resting in the room." Ariel was very curious to find her brother-in-law staying in the room for the whole day. She left the party and took a candle to go to Zelda's room to invite him to the party. When Ariel entered the room with the candle, Prince Basil immediately turned into an eagle. It flapped its wings to break the window and flew away. Zelda rushed over and was very shocked to see her husband turn into an eagle and fly away. "The thing that I feared the most happened. He has turned into an eagle and flown away." Zelda told her sister the story of how Basil was cursed. After listening, Ariel felt regret and worried about Basil. "How can I possibly find him now?"
If you want to save him, then listen to my advice.
Zelda was surprised to see her nightingale talking. She asked it, "You know how to save him?"
You just follow him to the end of the world. You will reach a flower forest where you can find the prince and he'll turn into a human. But the way is dangerous. Just bring me with you. I'll help you on the way.
Zelda quickly took the nightingale with her and set out to rescue Basil. Her father and sister were very worried about her and her husband. Zelda bravely carried the nightingale on her shoulder and coped with many obstacles on the way. She went through deep forests, through high mountains, and fast-flowing streams. Zelda and the nightingale kept going continuously every day and night. Only when she became exhausted, she stopped and rested for a bit on the rocks in the forest, then continued on her way. Despite rain or shine or snow, she still tried to continue on with her faithful nightingale. The time flew by, and after a year had passed, Zelda finally found the end of the world. Zelda was stunned by the beauty of the flower forest. She walked slowly in the forest, looking around to find the eagle, her husband. Zelda discovered some huge eagle feathers. She happily followed the trace to find her husband. Zelda finally found the eagle on the grass in front of her. However, next to her husband was a beautiful and evil witch named Ella. Ella swung the magic wand in her hand to erase the eagle's memory. So he couldn't remember Zelda anymore. Basil now only cared about Ella. He carried Ella and flew away. She sat down on the grass and sobbed.
If you want to save Prince Basil, just follow the eagle's direction. You'll find your way to the witch Ella's castle. I'll give you these 2 boxes. Open them whenever you need help. I'll come back to you. Remember this. Good luck.
The nightingale gave Zelda 2 shining magic boxes and flew into the sky. Zelda waved goodbye to the bird and felt determined to save Basil by all means. I will find you and save you, I assure you. Zelda followed the directions that were given to her by the bird. She finally found Witch Ella's castle. The castle was beautifully decorated to prepare for Prince Basil and the witch Ella's wedding. Zelda was hurt. She wondered why Basil, after returning to a human, could forget her. How could he possibly forget me? He must have been under a spell by that evil witch Ella. No, I have to go and find him and ask him in person. If he rejects me, I will give him and Ella my blessings. But if he is under Ella's spell, I will have to save him. Zelda opened the first box. Suddenly, a really beautiful wedding dress, shining brightly, appeared in front of her. She happily put it on and confidently entered the castle. When Ella saw Zelda in a gorgeous wedding dress coming in, she wanted it. She stopped Zelda and asked to buy the dress from her. Hey, miss, I really like your wedding dress. Please sell it to me. I will give you a lot of jewels and gold for it. I don't need gold or jewels. I will sell it if you let me stay 1 night in the groom's room. Yes, I agree. Tonight you can stay in his room. That night, Ella brought a glass of wine and told the maid to make sure Basil drank all of it. The maid listened to her, and Basil fell asleep soundly after drinking. At midnight, Zelda was allowed to enter the room. She went to Basil's bed and sat next to him. For 1 year, I have been searching for you. Thanks to our magic nightingale, I have finally found you here. But you completely forgot about me. Or are you just under the evil witch's spell? Prince Basil was still fast asleep on the bed, and he couldn't hear what Zelda said. She felt very sad and cried all night. When the morning came, Zelda had to go out and give Ella her wedding dress. Ella was very happy to receive a beautiful wedding dress without paying anything for it. In comparison, Zelda looked very miserable walking out of the castle. She was very sad because Basil could not hear her words. She suddenly remembered the second box that the nightingale gave her. Zelda opened the box. Surprisingly, a beautiful diamond ring appeared right in front of her. Zelda put the ring on her finger. The ring shone brightly. She regained her confidence and entered the castle again. Again, Ella saw Zelda wearing a beautiful diamond ring, so she stopped Zelda and asked to buy it. Hey, miss, I really love the ring you are wearing. Sell it to me, and I will pay you a lot of jewels and gold. I don't need jewels or gold. I'll only sell it if I can spend another night in the groom's room. Yes, I agree. Tonight, you can stay in his room again. That night, Ella brought a glass of wine again and told the servant to let Basil drink all of it. The servant obeyed her. She took the glass to bring it to Basil. Basil was surprised and tried to remember what had happened yesterday.
That's strange. I remember yesterday, after I finished the wine, I had a headache and I couldn't remember a thing. Is something wrong with the wine? Go and get me a cup of water.
When the servant left the room, Basil poured the glass of wine away and laid down on the bed and pretended to be fast asleep. The servant saw that and quietly went out. At midnight, Zelda was allowed to enter the room. She went to Basil's bed again and sat beside him. For 1 year, I have been searching for you. Thanks to our magic nightingale, I have finally found you here. But you completely forgot about me. Or are you just under the evil witch's spell? Basil heard Zelda's confession, and his memory was recovered. He happily sat up and held her hands.
Zelda, it's you, my dear lovely wife. I was under a spell from that witch Ella. But now I remember everything.
Zelda and Basil held hands and fled away. Suddenly, the witch Ella appeared right behind them with a puff of smoke. Ella swung her wand towards Basil and Zelda. The beams of light shot out from the wand. The light exploded right behind Basil and Zelda, making them really scared. Suddenly, their nightingale appeared, which had now transformed into a giant bird. It flew down in front of Basil and Zelda.
It's our nightingale. Hurry and jump on its back.
Basil and Zelda quickly jumped onto the bird's back. It flapped its wings to fly away. Ella was really angry, but she couldn't do anything. The nightingale brought Basil and Zelda back to their palace in the forest. Basil and Zelda were very thankful to the faithful bird. The nightingale returned to its small form and flew to Zelda's shoulder. Basil and Zelda's wedding was solemnly held in the palace under the blessing of Zelda's father and sister.